What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another video. My name is Flip.
I'm Element.
And we get together each and every week to catch up to some of our favorite Asian dramas, and we're going to continue the conversation about Squid Game. But this time around, it's going to be Squid Game versus Alice in Borderland, Gganbu versus the Seven of Hearts.
So Squid Game is the top Netflix
Yes.
show, even in history, it seems like, as we keep on following this story. Netflix is biggest show ever in history.
It's insane.
Not just Korean, not just foreign, not just like anywhere else. It's the biggest. And there is another show, like Flip said, Alice in Borderland, that shares the same concept, although they are unique in their own right, Alice in the Borderland. And so Flip wanted to talk about which was more emotional or
Which
brutal.
one was more brutal? Like, which one was worse from your emotional state, from an emotional standpoint, the connections you had with each individual of the stories. But I would like to argue that I would say Seven of Hearts was way more brutal and way more cruel than Gganbu.
I'm going to take the opposing side.
Okay, so let's start with Alice in Borderland, Seven of Hearts. My argument is that that is got to be the most cruel and the most brutal way to deal a blow to your emotional and mental state, because Arisu, Chota, and Karube were childhood friends. Childhood friends that grew up together, they played together, they lived together, well, to some respect, right? They're entered into this game and their friendship is put to the test. And in a very pivotal moment, you either choose yourself to live or your friends to die.
Yeah.
And that is insane! You've
It
been
is
friends for your whole
very-
entire life!
It's very, very brutal.
You know, in the
yes.
last waning seconds of that game, Arisu, who's been afraid trying to figure out how to solve this game, finally musters up enough courage to sacrifice himself for his friends. But little does he know his friends did the same thing, that they're gonna sacrifice themselves for Arisu. And like, in that waning moment, my god. My gosh, that waiting moment where Arisu is flipping out and he's like, "Where are you? Where are you? Like, let's do this together." Oh, it was
Yeah.
just like the shock value in that moment to me was just, my heart was just like on the floor. Like when we were watching this, when we were talking about it in the last video, it was like, did they just kill him off? Like just like that.
I was very surprised at that. But if we go to the Gganbu side, there are bonds that form right then and there, or there are bonds that they had immediately coming from the gate.
이렇게 해서 뺐던가?
예, 맞아요. 이렇게.
For example, Ilnam and Gi-hoon, who became friends at the beginning of the game, and he has this sort of like son-like kind
Father
of,
and
or
son.
grandson relationship that forms between the two, and it creates this huge creates this conflict of interest within these games that end up with the other person dying. And some people in Gganbu lost, like one person lost their wife because they came in thinking that they were partners. Now, the reason I would argue that Gganbu is a little bit more brutal is in fact the language around the game itself. Play the game of your choice with your partner, and the person who loses dies, basically.
이번 게임은 각자 자신의 구슬을 가지고 지금 여러분의 옆에 있는 짝과 시합을 보자.
There's no two ways around that language. I think me and Flip kind of tossed some ideas around at each other at how to circumvent or how to bypass these rules and see if you and your partner can come out of it unscathed. And I just couldn't think of any, you know? It's either you or your partner. And when you come into that game, you think you guys are partners.
Yeah, and there's two different circumstances here, where in Alice in Borderland, you're kind of in this panic situation, trying to figure it out, and like, you don't know anything until the very end, like what's gonna happen until it happens, right? In Gganbu, you kind of know, like, I mean, not kind of know, but you already know what's going to happen. You know one of you are going to die from the very beginning, and so those are very two different emotional sequences.
Yeah, I would
you
almost
know?
say it's not like a one-to-one, but I would argue that Seven of Hearts, we did discuss various ways to cheat the system. They had tools on the table. There was ways to kind of, you know, trick the vision or the Oculus of the headset. And so even though the game itself is brutal in nature and it resulted in a very emotional and shocking moment, I think there were ways that Arisu could have figured his way out of it
There's
using the
possibilities.
puzzles, kind of tinkering with the headset, whereas Gganbu, the language is clear. You and your partner play a game, your partner that loses dies. And so that's where I come in. Of course, both are emotional, both are brutal, but I think Seven of Hearts could be beaten.
Well, those are two very, very difficult circumstances. One in Alice in Borderland, where your life and death choices, you actually have a chance, right? Like, you actually have a chance, but the shock value at the very end, losing your childhood friends, was just so emotionally, like, compelling and crazy. The insanity of that shock value just, like, sent viewers all over the web just going absolutely nuts. And then on the other hand, you have Gganbu, where your emotional and ethical and moral conscience is in play here. Where like what do you do? Especially with Gihonen and Ilnam, who was like cheating him because Ilnam was pretending that he's got dementia at that moment, and like your moral and ethical like mental state there is just like you're just betraying yourself. And so those two circumstances are so incredible, and that's why these two shows are just so amazing. And I believe Alice in Borderland made it in top 10 at one point, but then of course Squid Game is number 1. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, which game you think is more cruel and brutal.
All in all, our purpose in making this video is to draw some attention to Alice in the Borderland as well. I think both of these shows deserve to be the top shows in Netflix history. Squid Game more recently, of course. We loved Squid Game and we hope for season 2, although I really disagreed with the ending and I thought he should have taken care of his daughter.
Yes.
But that's besides the point. We are getting a season 2 and Gihonen is returning to Squid Game. But of course, as Flip said, leave your comments in the section below. Let us know what you think. Is it the Seven of Hearts or is it Gganbu? Or have you beaten Seven of Hearts? Let us know below. But that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to our channel. Hit the bell icon and turn on notifications. These are the shows we're watching this Sunday, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Hey stop 참 무책임해 왜 자꾸 들었다 놨다 해 헷갈리게 친절은 사양할게 오해하게 하지 말아요 날 yeah 들어봐